wonderful Solari Report subscriber sent in a question. Why are you an optimist? I started to answer it and ask Catherine in the segment of my weekly Money and Markets commentary, and I realized the question was a good one and deserved a more thoughtful response. So this coming week on the Solari Report, as the 2020 year draws to a close, I wanted to address this issue of why I'm an optimist. It's true. I am an optimist. I'm also a trained risk manager. Managing money and resources is first and foremost about identifying, reducing, and managing risks. Successful risk management does a world of good to support enduring optimism. I look ahead and I think 2021 will be a year of skyrocketing risks and difficulties. Every year in the annual wrap-up, we develop 4 scenario plans for the coming year. As you know, I'm a great believer in scenario planning. If you go back and review prior annual wrap-ups, you can see the scenarios we have done each year. We will publish our scenarios for 2021 in January, along with our theme on the Going Direct Reset approved by the central bankers in August 2019. As always, there will be a scenario for the worst case. For me, this is the most important scenario. I like to explore, think through, and have a plan for the worst case. I want to be prepared for the worst case because then I don't have to dwell on it. I don't have to fear it. Instead, I can focus my year on making the best case come true. Optimism is not about prediction, let alone accurate prediction. Optimism is about generating the faith that is the critical ingredient of creating a life worth living and a society worth living in. Scripture says, quote, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Faith is the concrete that you pour out of your spirit to build the blocks that you use to build the cathedral of your life. In 2006, as I finished an 11-year period of being at war with the U.S. central bankers, I wrote the following, quote, "The Buddha says, with our thoughts we invent our world. Inventing our world is what we do when we live history. That happens when history stops being separate from our lives, as official history is, and becomes a pathway to connect with the authentic, with what is real. Living history is the way to understand ourselves and those we love within the flow of time, the panorama of events, and the age-old squabble over resources. When we engage in a living history, we emerge as participants to create and influence the history being created while we live. A living history is not always a pretty picture. It is, however, a real one. When mastered, it starts the student on a journey of taking life with both hands to create something true and beautiful. Each one of us can say, I am part of a great story, and that story is not over yet. I have something to say about how it goes. I am an optimist because I was born with the power to invent my world. I've discovered during my lifetime that when I exercise that amazing power, that all of creation is available to help. Angels, birds, trees, millions of people, the shared intelligence. We are all willing to create civilization together. We can create civilization together. We have that power. As we will talk about in this Solari Report, it is those experiences that have most powerfully fortified my optimism. Sir James Goldsmith once declared that the establishment has declared war on society, and indeed they have. 2020 was the year when that finally became widely obvious, which means 2021 is a year in which we must wage war and do our best to win that war despite what have become very long odds in the material world now that the establishment has engineered the financial coup d'etat. First and foremost, this is a spiritual war, and one of the greatest weapons of such a war is optimism. The philosopher said, if you do not hope, you will not win that which is not hoped for. We are never tired so long as we can see far enough. Goethe once said, I love those who yearn for the impossible. For this holiday season, I have faith in the possibility of peace on earth, goodwill towards men, because I am an optimist, and because as a risk manager, I know it to be true, just not easy.